The Lives of the Saints by Father Albin Butler, October 6th. Saint Faith and Companions, Martyrs. Among those Christians whose invincible constancy triumphed over the malice of Dacian, prefect of Gaul under Diocletian and Maximian, none was more illustrious than Saint Faith. She was born at Agen in Aquitaine, and though of exquisite beauty, was insensible to all the allurements of the world. When she was apprehended and brought before Dacian, making the sign of the cross on different parts of her body, she uttered this prayer: Lord Jesus, who art always ready to assist your servants, fortify me at this hour and enable me to answer in a manner worthy of you. The tyrant, assuming an air of mildness, asked her, What is your name? She answered, My name is Faith, and I endeavor to support in reality what that name signifies. Dacian, what is your religion? Faith, I have from my infancy served Christ, and to him I have consecrated my whole soul. Dacian, come, child, have some regard for your youth and beauty. Renounce the religion you profess, and sacrifice to Diana, who is a divinity of your own sex, and who will bestow on you the most precious gifts. Faith, the divinities of the Gentiles are devils. How then can you advise me to sacrifice to them? Dacian, in a rage, said, What? Do you presume to call our gods devils? You must resolve instantly to offer sacrifice or expire under torments. The saint, calling to mind the courage of the martyrs and the glorious crown promised to those who persevere to the end, far from being terrified at the menaces of the tyrant, feels herself inflamed with a new desire to die for her Lord. No, cried she, I not only am prepared to suffer every torment for Christ, but I burn with impatience to die for him. Dacian, more enraged than ever, ordered a brazen bed to be produced, and the saint to be bound on it with iron chains. A great fire was kindled under it, the heat of which was rendered still more intolerable by the addition of oil and other inflammable matter. The spectators, struck with pity and horror, exclaimed, How can the tyrant thus torment an innocent young virgin only for worshipping God? Hereupon Dacian apprehended numbers of them, and as these refused to sacrifice, they were beheaded with Saint Faith. See the genuine acts of the saint, which are very short. Surius and Labi give other acts which are longer, but in these there are interpolations and an account of miracles not sufficiently warranted. Saint Dulcicius, bishop of Agen, about the middle of the 5th century, deposited the relics of Saint Faith in a church which he built at Agen, and translated those of her companions and Saint Capres to another church in that city. The history of this translation, which seems to have been written by an eyewitness, may be seen in the Acts of Saint Faith, published by Surius and Laba. The place where the bodies of these holy martyrs were concealed for fear of the persecutors is still held in veneration. About the year 886, the relics of Saint Vincent of Agen, martyr, and of Saint Faith were removed to the Abbey of Conques in Rouergue, and thence to the new church of that abbey in 1050. A portion of those of Saint Faith was given by Pope Urban V to the monks of Cucafat in Catalonia in 1365, and an arm of the saint was formerly kept at Glastonbury. Saint Faith is titular saint of several churches in France, particularly that of Longueville in Normandy, which was enriched by Walter Gifford, Earl of Buckingham in England. She was also patroness of the Priory of Horsham in the county of Norfolk, founded by Robert Fitzwalter and his wife Sibylla, and endowed with great privileges by Henry I. The subterraneous chapel of Saint Faith, built under St. Paul's in London, was also very famous, as Dugdale remarks in his history of this church. Good example is one of the strongest incentives to virtue. Woe to us if we harden our hearts against the salutary impressions which the heroic virtue and examples of so many saints ought to make upon us. The companions of the martyrdom of Saint Faith, fired by seeing the glorious conflict and trophies of the Holy Virgin, arrived themselves at an equal crown. And can we read the lives of so many illustrious saints without reproaching ourselves for our base ingratitude to God and repeated abuse of divine grace, and without aspiring to an imitation of their zeal, devotion, charity, humility, compunction, and fervor?